Good afternoon, distinguished delegates. Special thanks to Mr. Shaba Tarek, CEO of MCS, for extending this invitation to Afreximbank, and also just to recognize the Minister of Information and Technology, who eloquently spoke during the opening ceremony. I'm actually happy to be here, and I also bring greetings from the President of Afreximbank, Professor Orama, and also the Executive Vice President, Madam Kano Awani, whom I report to as my line executive. So we are actually proud to be associated with the FDC Summit. My speech, actually, I've put it in form of like a presentation so that at least there could be more interactive. I think for some of you might not know, excuse me, my presentation is not shown here. Apologies for that. I think I like to start with, first of all, introducing the bank. I think some of you might be hearing Afreximbank for the first time. Afreximbank is basically a Pan-African multilateral institution, which was created in 1993 under the auspices of the African Development Bank. In terms of ownership, it is owned by African governments, African financial entities, as well as a few non-African entities. In terms of our mandate, really is to this one is good. Apologies, it's not responding. Yeah. Apologies for that. So in terms of our mandate really is to consistently stimulate a consistent expansion and diversification of African trade to rapidly increase Africa's share of global trade. And our vision basically is to be the trade finance bank for Africa. And in terms of our mandate, as by the name African Import-Export Bank, is basically to facilitate and promote and expand intra as well as extra African trade. And we do this through a broad category of services, which is credit, meaning provision of trade and project financing, risk bearing. We also do guarantees as well as credit assurance, and also trade and advisory services. In terms of our physical presence, we are headquartered here in Egypt, in Cairo, in Heliopolis, those that are very much familiar with Cairo. And we also have a physical presence in other regions of the continent. We actually adopt a regional-based approach to taking services to closer to the countries and also closer to the businesses. So we do have a presence in Southern Africa. Our office is in Harare, which looks after all the Southern African countries. Okay, thank you. It's in Harare, and for East Africa, we have it in Uganda, which looks after all East African countries. And for West Africa Francophonie, we have an office in a branch office in Cote d'Ivoire in Abidjan, looks after all French-speaking countries in West Africa. The Central Africa, it's in Cameroon. The West Africa Anglophone, it's in Abuja. And also, I think some of you understand when Afreximbank say intra-African trade, it also takes into account the diaspora. So the diaspora, by the mere definition, it's those of African descent who are spread across the continent, wherever they are found, across the globe, wherever they are found. And when you look at the area where they are heavily concentrated, you find them in the Caribbean. So we do have an office in the Caribbean, in the Barbados, which looks after the 15 CARICOM countries. And at the moment, we have 53 African countries that are member states of Afreximbank, and 12 out of 15 Caribbean countries that are members of the bank. So that is pretty much the introduction about Afreximbank, who we are, and also what we do. And as per our mandate, which is to promote intra-African trade, we understand that FDC Summit actually is taking place at an opportune time when trade actually has gone digital. There is so much advancement taking place in the area of technology. Trade is no longer taking place by doing physical interventions or manual. Everything now has become digital. And we do understand that this advancement in technology also give rise to a number of cyber threats. So from the bank side, in order to support the movement of goods as well as services, we've also deployed a number of technologically enabled solutions as well as other innovation products that we are deploying to support this. And we also understand that as technology is improving, there are also other challenges. That's why, as Afreximbank, we're very much proud to be here, to be able to interact with you in terms of, and also to learn in terms of other challenges that are actually existing in the area of cybersecurity, as it has potential to also impede in terms of how trade is conducted. And we do have a number of initiatives that I would like to speak to, but I think time is not on our side. But I want to introduce you to one of the most important platform which we are deploying to support trade across the continent, and also where stakeholders like yourselves would actually come and participate. And that is the intra-African trade fair. The intra-African trade fair was consummated basically as a response to the challenges of lack of access to trade and market information. What we discovered or what we observed is that trade within the continent has actually been quite low for a number of reasons, and also for a very long period of time. But when you now group Africa as a region and then you compare it to other regions of the world, you find that in Africa, trade within the continent was roving around 14 to 18%. But when you look at other regions of the world, for example, Asia, it's about 60%. When you look at North Africa, it's about 40 or 45% thereabout. Europe, 55%. And then for Africa, just a meager 14 to 18%. And then we started now trying to investigate in terms of what would be the region, because as a bank also who's been charged with the responsibility of promoting trade, over the years we've pumped in billions and billions of dollars to promote trade. However, we noticed that the improvement actually was very much dismal. So we did some research, and what we discovered was that the reason why intra-African trade has been quite low was due to lack of trade and market information. And now to address that, Afreximbank, working with African Union Commission and the FCA Secretariat, we decided to organize what we call a biannual continental intra-African trade fair, which is the intra-African trade fair, which is a platform where buyers, sellers, investors meet to consummate transactions, as well as also to discuss about issues happening in the area of digital transformation, as well as those elements that actually affect trade from the digital aspect. IATF has now become the FCFTA marketplace and also a go-to event, which we are also using to support the African Continental Free Trade Area. But that does not mean that we exclude non-African countries. They are part and parcel of this. And I think as I go through my presentation, I'll be able to highlight that. And we're expecting that AFCFTA will boost intra-African trade significantly over the coming years. And we hope that it will increase intra-African trade to foster industrialization, promote value addition, create jobs, and also enhance competitiveness on the global stage. And IATF, when you look at it in terms of the profile, actually, it's a unique platform for businesses to access a single market of over $1.4 billion, 1.4 billion people with a combined GDP of $3.5 trillion. And the objectives, actually, there are 6, but I'll just focus on 2 major ones, which is to bring together continental and global players to explore business and investment opportunities in the continent, and also to serve as a marketplace where buyers, sellers can explore business opportunities. Thirdly, we use it as a platform where a broad spectrum of tradable as well as tradable facilitating activities in the area of digital transformation are also discussed. to make sure that to contribute to the objectives of the IATF. Then in terms of our journey, where we are coming from, we've so far held 3 successful events, starting from the 2018 year in Cairo, which was our inaugural, and it attracted about 180 exhibitors, more than 10,000 visitors, and more than 45 participating countries, out of which 16 were non-African countries. And in terms of trade and investment deals that were closed across the various sectors, including in the ICT and also innovation space, amounted to $32.6 billion. The second edition was held in Durban in 2021, and we attracted more than 1,500 exhibitors. We saw a number of visitors surging to more than 32,000 from 128 participating countries, out of which 46 countries were African, the rest were non-African countries. And in terms of trade and market, and in terms of trade and investment deals that were closed on the floor of the exhibition, amounted to $42.1 billion. In 2023, which was the 3rd edition, again, it was held here in Cairo. We saw exhibitors participating in the event amounting to around 2,000 exhibitors, visitors more than 28,000, and in terms of participating countries, 130. Actually, you see one common feature that every year when we have, or every cycle of the IATF, the number of participating countries actually keeps on increasing from 45 to 120 to 130. So basically that tells you the profile of the event, meaning that almost 2/3 of the global, of the countries in the world actually identify IATF as a go-to. It's a platform that you cannot miss in terms of making connections, interactions, as well as having some business deals. Then in terms of the trade and investment deals that were closed on the floor of the exhibition, amounted to $43.8 billion. Now, we have the 4th edition, which is coming up in Algeria, and I extend this warm invitation to all of you. It is a platform that you cannot miss it. All African countries, the rest of the world will be heading to Algeria in September. It will take place from 4th to the 10th of September, 2025. And we'll be happy to actually have more interaction with you and my colleagues who are here from the bank to make sure that we facilitate and also see in terms of how your interests could also be reflected and also presented. In terms of the target sectors, IATF is a multi-sector event. However, I want to draw you to 2 specific areas of interest to this summit, and that is the ICT and innovation, which plays a critical role as an integral part of the IATF. In terms of the verticals, IATF actually has 11 verticals, but in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just focus on those that I feel they are very much relevant to this audience. And that's the trade exhibition, which is the heartbeat of the trade fair, where large corporates, countries, as well as small and medium enterprises are provided opportunity to showcase their goods and services. The second one, it's the Trade and Investment Forum, which is a 4-day conference and also attended by heads of states from within the continent. This features African international speakers on a variety of sessions dealing with intra-African trade and investment, as well as issues happening in the digital world. It also focuses on sessions to do with how to improve trade and investment opportunities within the continent under the framework of the AFCFTA. Now, of greater significance is the element. I think in my presentation, you've been hearing me, quoting figures in terms of the 2 billion, for 3 billion, for 4 billion. So this is where those deals that I was talking about actually are consummated. We have a very robust business to business and business to government platform with matchmaking opportunities, business exchanges, and also a platform where you could actually conclude business and investment deals. And this is also supported by a robust African bus program, which again, I invite you to be part of. Now, of critical importance is the Africa Research and also Innovation Hub. So the Africa Research and Innovation Hub, basically, it's a new vertical that we've actually added to the IATF for recognizing in terms of things that are happening in the area of digital space, innovation, and this platform actually, or vertical, it allows university students, academia, and also national researchers to exhibit prototype of their inventions and also showcase published research papers. The main reason why we decided to give special focus to this is that we recognize that now we are living in the digital world, and a lot of things actually are happening that are supporting trade. And looking at the stakeholders in this room, this is one vertical which I highly invite you and encourage you to participate in. You'll be able to actually see in terms of how even some of the solutions that you have could actually augment or support the kind of invention, and also how you could also cooperate to make sure that we support trade effectively. Then the last one is the also IATF virtual. I've walked around and also just listened to some of the stakeholders around here. You have very good products and services which actually could be used by others that actually might want those services to make sure that it supports their trade, their transactions, and also on their day-to-day business. And this is the IATF virtual platform. The IATF virtual platform merely, basically, it mimics the physical trade fair, whereby you can actually take up a virtual booth, and then you'll be able to showcase it on our platform. And under our platform also, we mobilize what we call virtual exhibitors, where we've met here physically, but now you mimic that in the virtual space. Thousands and thousands of exhibitors, they're looking for the solutions that actually you have to support their businesses. So I encourage you to take up that virtual booth. It's an online interactive platform, 24/7 with a robust support to make sure that you take your goods within the continent as well as globally. And also for those that would like to register, in fact, I encourage all of you to register because, as I said, this is the go-to platform. In September, if you are not in Nigeria, you find yourself alone in the country. So all roads, as I said, for all the businesses, for all those that are in the area of digital innovation, cyber security space, this is where you have to go. In terms of register, if you want to register, there is a registration portal, intra-African Trade Fair, and you just need to have it has 5 stages. You go to the landing page, you create a profile, and then we'll be able to engage you. You can either participate as a delegate, but also fundamentally, I encourage you to actually take up an exhibition pavilion or a stand, so that you'll be able to showcase and also have somewhere where we could actually have interactions. We are actually found also on various social media handles. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can also find us on LinkedIn. So please feel free to also interact with us here. We can also assist you to actually register on the spot. With this, and given the limited time that I've been given, I would like to, again, thank you for your cooperation, and also for being attentive, and looking forward to fruitful engagement and discussions after this session. Thank you.